What did we decide last time? Although we have a little more room. Okay. Hi. How are you, Aiden? Hi. How are you? Lovely to see you. Very, I'll see you. Yeah. So we did stop to get some delicious local pizza. And so supporting the local economy. Yeah. Yeah. How are you? Oh, amazing. I highly recommend this place if you ever go further out than where you went. We had, we'll talk. And I want to see if I know anything that you know, and probably you know everything, and I know a small sliver. Yeah. Thank you. There's so many windmills on the Cape. No, old windmills, like not turbines, windmills. We worked so the East Ham Town Common, and then we saw one in. We passed like 4. Orleans has one. That was a surprise. So we did this, and I went to Pizza. Oh yeah. So that yeah, and very good food. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. How was your weekend? Did it work out with everybody? Good. Great. How was your 5-year-old nephew?
We went apple picking and he was wearing a hoodie and he was just like picking apples and I was like, here, I'm gonna put it in here and give him like little apples. And he was like walking around like this.
Cute.
So no, it was great. He was actually like he's good. He's 6 weeks into kindergarten and he's like you could see
He's learning, yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so glad.
and then like my other nephew started school. He started college.
So glad. Good for you. Here we are. Yeah.
I'm proud. I'm glad.
Yeah. Me too. David, who... That is an excellent question. He likes to be close to the microphone. We might need to. Unless we've already had something set up. I don't know. He needs to lower, and I think he likes to see the mouth of the people.
Maybe what we do is we just switch these tables so he's got a smaller table. But right next to him.
Let's just ask Liz before we... Yeah.
set? All right. Okay. Good evening again. Everyone hear me all right? Yes, great. Thank you for your patience while we got everyone here to make sure that we were able to take down everything that you say tonight. This is a public hearing regarding the matter docketed as DPU 2585, the petition of Liberty Utilities for approval of a general increase in base distribution rates for gas service and a performance-based rate-making plan. Before we go on the record, we do have interpreters who will be interpreting from English into Spanish, Portuguese, and Khmer. If you need interpretation services, then as you walked in, you should have received headphones and instructions on how to access the desired language. If you did not receive headphones and instructions yet, please return to the table by the front and they will be provided to you. All interpreters should now begin interpreting everything that is said, both on and off the record. And we will pause a moment for anyone who needs to retrieve headphones or select their languages. When we go on the record, I will briefly summarize the company's proposal. I will introduce you to members of the department. We will hear from the department's commissioners and attorney appearances from interveners. And then I will explain how you can provide comments today, and we will hear your comments. And after we hear from all members of the public who wish to speak, we will adjourn the hearing. What's that, David? Okay, let's go on the record. Good evening. My name is Elizabeth McNamara. I'm a hearing officer in the legal division of the Department of Public Utilities. Today's public hearing is being held at Bristol Community College's Fall River campus and is being interpreted into Spanish, Portuguese, and Khmer. Before we went on the record, you received instruction on how to access the desired language. If you have not done so yet, please retrieve your interpretation headphones from the front and select the desired language. This public hearing regards the matter docketed as DPU 2585, the petition of Liberty Utilities, New England Natural Gas Company Corporation, doing business as Liberty, for approval of a general increase in base distribution rates for gas service and a performance-based rate-making plan. Liberty seeks to increase its gas-based distribution rates to generate approximately $55.8 million in additional revenues. This proposed base distribution rate increase is in addition to changes in other rates, such as reconciling mechanism rates that occur during the year. The company proposes to retain certain reconciling mechanisms, establish new ones, and modify its policy for contributions in aid of construction. Liberty also seeks to recover, through an existing reconciling mechanism and over a 5-year period, approximately $50 million with interest, which represents the balance of deferred, unrecovered, previously authorized gas system enhancement program related revenue requirements. The company proposes to begin recovering the interest associated with the deferral balance on June 1st, 2026, but to delay recovery of the deferral balance until July 1st, 2027. Liberty states that its cost of service and revenue deficiency also reflects the company's acquisition of Blackstone Gas Company in 2020. Liberty's filing also addresses the company's relocation of its headquarters and the associated purchase and sale of land. In addition, Liberty proposes to implement a performance-based rate-making plan, or PBR plan, which would allow the company to adjust its base distribution rates on an annual basis through a mathematical formula using a revenue cap benchmark. Further, the company proposes a one-time adjustment to revenue to be made in the 2028 annual PBR adjustment filing to account for the revenue requirement associated with investments that the company will make in 2026 and 2027 to implement pipeline safety regulations. The company's filing also includes depreciation-related proposals and proposed adjustments to certain revenue and expense categories, as well as the recovery of capital investments and certain information technology costs. Further, Liberty's filing includes various rate design proposals, including equalizing the base distribution rates for the Blackstone Gas Company service area with the Fall River and North Attleboro service areas, increasing certain customer charges, maintaining the current low-income total bill discount of 25%, and revising tariffs to implement the proposals in the proceeding. The foregoing is not intended to be an exhaustive list of issues set forth in the company's filing. A summary of the proposed rate increase, Liberty's other proposals, and bill impact information is set forth in the notice of today's hearing, which was issued on July 9th, 2025, and in the notice rescheduling this Fall River public hearing today, which issued on September 26, 2025. A copy of the July 9th notice is on the table by the entrance, and copies of both notices are available on the company's website, the department's webpage for this case, and the department's online file room under docket number 25-85. The department has suspended the effective date of Liberty's proposed rate increase to May 1st, 2026, to investigate the propriety of the company's petition. With me on the bench today are Commissioner Stacy Rubin and Commissioner Jeremy McDermott. Also here today are Aidan Wilson, Marcos Pareto, and Lori Miller from the department's rate division. Before I discuss the filings further and we hear from the public, the department's commissioners would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Hearing Officer McNamara. Good evening. My name is Stacy Rubin, and I have served as a commissioner of the Department of Public Utilities since April of 2023. The department is overseen by a 3-member commission appointed by the Secretary of the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs with approval by the governor. 2 members of the commission are here tonight. Commissioner Jeremy McDermott began his tenure on the commission just 2 weeks ago, and he will take over as chair of the commission next week after our current chair, Jamie Van Nostrand, departs. And then we are joined by another new commissioner named Elizabeth Anderson. The 3 commissioners are the decision makers who will issue the written decision on Liberty Gas's petition for a rate change. I want to begin by acknowledging that the DPU is going to do everything that we can to bring down costs for customers. The DPU takes all rate matters seriously. We plan to thoroughly review all information that is provided about the company's rate increase, including your comments here tonight. Commissioner McDermott and I, along with our staff, are eager to hear your comments tonight on Liberty Gas Services. The commission makes its decisions in writing, so we will not make any rulings here tonight. We're here to listen to you, so please do not expect us to respond to your comments or questions. Please know that we're going to be taking careful notes and listening intently. Over the next few months, the department staff will review the company's testimony and detailed cost data, cross-examining witnesses in evidentiary hearings, and reviewing public comments. Your comments tonight inform questions that we will ask to scrutinize information from the company. All of that will be used to gather evidence. Only after the commission reviews all of the evidence filed in this proceeding will we issue a decision. We will do our best to respond to your comments in the written decision, which we will issue sometime before May 1st of 2026. Before turning it over to Commissioner McDermott, I wanted to share with you a few of the commission's priorities. The first of these priorities is affordability. Energy prices are very expensive in this region compared to other parts of the country, and utilities request the department's approval for rate increases in part to recover the costs associated with maintaining aging infrastructure. We need to take action to address the challenges of residents and small businesses in the Commonwealth in paying their utility bills. We are exploring innovative solutions to the affordability issue, such as billing based on a % of a household income or enabling bill discounts based on income. In reviewing all of the proposals to the department, we aim to promote affordability and reduce the burden of high energy prices on residents. I will now turn it over to Commissioner McDermott to discuss 2 additional priorities for the agency.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thanks to all of you for coming out tonight. I know these issues are important, and we know that you have demands on your time, and we appreciate you making the time to come out this evening. I also want to acknowledge the staff of the department that is here, who are a key part of making sure that we analyze all of the materials, all of the comments, and all of the evidence in this case before making a decision. Again, I am Jeremy McDermott. I am the newest member of the commission. And I will be one of the 3 commissioners making a decision by May 1st in this case. In addition to affordability, the department also focuses on increasing the transparency of our work. That's one of the reasons that we're here tonight, to listen and to hear from you and hear the perspectives that you bring on Liberty's proposed rate increase. We're working to provide information about our processes more easily and to provide better access to that information so you understand what we are considering as we make decisions in this proceeding and others like it. For Liberty's proposed rate case, we have created a page on our website where you can learn about the process, review the company's testimony, and see the potential bill impacts if, and that's an if, the company's rate increase is approved. To find that, you can do a search for Mass DPU and Liberty or DPU 25-85, which is the docket number in this case, and it should take you to the webpage. In addition, as has been mentioned, we have interpreters and information available on the website about the company's proposal in Spanish, Portuguese, and Khmer. And we will continue to improve and work on making sure that our processes are transparent as possible. A third priority to highlight is equity and making sure that we are creating opportunities for meaningful involvement for communities across the Commonwealth, particularly voices in environmental justice populations. This includes providing opportunities for limited English proficient speakers to understand and participate. It also includes integrating environmental justice into our decision-making process, which is a priority across all environmental and energy agencies. We're working to facilitate participation of environmental justice populations in our proceeding to achieve more equitable outcomes. And turning back to the point of tonight's hearing, the actions of our agency in this case will affect many people, and this is a responsibility that we take quite seriously. Our decisions will be better when we hear from all of you and ensure that your comments are instructive as we make our decisions. This public hearing is one way in which you can participate and influence the outcomes of the Commission, and I appreciate you showing up this evening. Thank you again for making time to attend and for sharing your perspective on the Liberty proposal. And now I will turn it back to Hearing Officer McNamara.
Thank you, Commissioners. The department required the company to publish notice of today's hearing in state and local newspapers, to give notice to local elected officials, to provide copies of the notice to city and town clerks for posting in city and town halls, to display the notice on the company's website, and to provide individual notice to customers through a bill insert, email where applicable, and other forms of social media. There are two types of hearings that the department holds in a case like this. The first type is a public hearing, which is the type we're holding today, where we hear comments from the public. And the purpose of the public hearing is to allow anyone to provide their comments concerning the company's proposals to assist the department in its investigation. In addition to this hearing, the department held a Zoom hearing and other in-person public hearings at various locations across the Commonwealth. The department is also accepting written comments in this docket before 5 p.m. tomorrow, October 15th, 2025. The second type of hearing is an evidentiary hearing in which the company and any interveners present testimony and documentary evidence, both of which are subject to questioning. The evidentiary hearings for this proceeding will be held in December. I will now ask Liberty's counsel to enter their appearance in this proceeding.
Good evening. Is this on? Yes, it is. Okay. Good evening. On behalf of Liberty Utilities, New England Natural Gas Company Corp., doing business as Liberty, my name is Kevin Penders from the law firm of Keegan Werlin, 1 Cranberry Hill, Lexington, Massachusetts. Also appearing with me from Keegan Werlin is Joe Kelly, and appearing on behalf of the company and from the company is Ronald J. Ritchie. And lastly, also appearing but not present this evening is Molly K. Agostinelli from the law firm of Keegan Werlin. Liberty will not be making a presentation this evening or any particularly prepared remarks, similar to the department's comment. But we are here. The company president is here. Other members of senior management are here this evening. Tatiana Rock is over next to me. She's the company president. Other members of senior leadership are here, and folks from the Customer Service Division are here as well. I know Jess Arnold was here at one point in the back. Oh, she's in the back over there taking notes. And we have a table set up out front as well for folks who have particular customer, specific customer concerns that they wish to explore with our customer service reps. So thank you very much for being here. We look forward to hearing your comments.
Thank you. I will now ask for the remaining attorney appearances. Those interveners who have brief comments today may provide them after giving their appearance, and those interveners who do not have comments today may just provide an attorney appearance. On June 24th, 2025, the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts intervened in this docket. Would counsel for the Attorney General now enter their appearance and then provide any comment that the Attorney General may have?
Good evening. Jessica Friedman, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General's office. Can everyone hear me okay? No? No? Okay. How's that? Okay, thank you. Good evening. My name is Jessica Friedman. I'm an Assistant Attorney General in the Massachusetts Attorney General's office. The Attorney General has asked me to appear here on behalf of the ratepayers of Liberty Utilities. By law, the Attorney General represents the interests of Massachusetts ratepayers in gas rate cases filed with the Department of Public Utilities. On June 13th, 2025, Liberty filed a petition with the department seeking to increase the gas base distribution rates that the company charges customers. In its petition, Liberty seeks an initial increase in base distribution rates of $55.8 million, or an overall average bill increase of 55%. If the department approves the company's requested rate increases as filed, customers will experience the following bill increases beginning May 1st, 2026. For the Fall River, North Attleboro service area, a typical residential gas heating customer will experience a monthly bill increase of approximately $78.86, representing an annual increase in the bills of 37%. For the Blackstone service area, a typical residential gas heating customer will experience a monthly bill increase of approximately $103.39, representing an annual increase in the bill of 60.6%. Commercial and industrial customers, depending on the tariffed rate on which they are receiving service and their monthly usage, will experience annual increases to their bills as high as 49.7%. Importantly, in addition to the initial $55.8 million increase in base distribution rates, the company is also seeking to recover over a 5-year period approximately $50 million inclusive of interest in unrecovered gas system enhancement program-related costs, which were previously approved by the department. By way of background, over the last 10 years, Liberty has been replacing leak-prone gas pipes with new gas pipes through its Gas System Enhancement Program, also known as GSEP. If the department approves the company's GSEP cost recovery request without modification, then in addition to the May 1st, 2026 rate increase, customers' distribution rates will increase annually over the next 5 years to recover these pipe replacement program costs. Also, as part of its filing, Liberty proposes to implement a 5-year performance-based rate-making plan. If the department approves the company's 5-year rate plan as filed, then customers will also experience further annual base distribution rate increases by the rate of inflation, up to 5% cap during the term of the rate plan. Overall, if the company's proposal is approved by the department, including the 5-year performance-based rate-making plan and the request to recover $50 million in pipe replacement program costs, then distribution rates are expected to increase significantly by an estimated additional 35% by the end of the 5-year rate plan term over the initial May 1st, 2026 bill increases. That means if the company's proposal is approved by the department without modification, then Liberty's customers will experience gas bill increases of approximately 90% by 2030. The Attorney General's office is working hard to investigate the company's proposal, including working with experts to aggressively advocate that Liberty provides safe and reliable service at the lowest possible cost to ratepayers. This is an extremely important case because it will set the rates for approximately 61,000 gas customers. The Attorney General's office encourages all customers to take the opportunity to express their concerns and priorities here and throughout this case. Your participation is important and it makes a difference. Thank you for this opportunity to present the views of the Attorney General's office.
Thank you. And I know we've had a few people come in since we started. If please feel comfortable finding seats anywhere that there's open room. On July 30th, 2025, the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources petition to intervene was granted. Counsel for DOER is not able to be here tonight and put in an appearance, but Commissioner Mahoney is here to provide comments.
Good evening.
Feel
Thank
free
you.
to take it out if it's easier.
Rockstar. Thank you. Thank you, Hearing Officer McNamara, Commissioners Rubin and Commissioner McDermott, and good evening, everyone. Thank you, first of all, to the Department of Public Utilities for hosting this public hearing and for the opportunity to offer DOER's comments tonight. My name is Elizabeth Mahoney, and I am the Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources, DOER, serving in Governor Healy's administration. DOER is the state's energy office, and our mission is to create a clean, affordable, resilient, and equitable energy future for the Commonwealth. I'm here tonight to speak about the new gas rates filed by Liberty and under consideration by the department. As you've heard from customers in your previous hearings, and will no doubt hear tonight from the general public gathered, I too am concerned about the size of the rate increase proposed by Liberty. People are struggling every day to afford rising energy bills, and the 55% increase in rates proposed by Liberty is shocking. Unsurprisingly, my comments tonight and my team's anticipated focus throughout this case are similar to those expressed by the Attorney General's office. My team is digging into Liberty's proposal. A cursory review of their filing shows that the biggest driver of the increased rates comes from the recovery of Liberty's investment in the Gas System Enhancement Program, or GSEP. GSEP is a program established in 2014 to encourage the gas companies to repair and replace leaky old gas pipes. This is in addition to traditional system maintenance, and is a means for gas companies to accelerate the recovery of the costs for this type of work. While I strongly support the goal of the program to eliminate gas leaks and maintain a safe, reliable system, how this company implemented GSEP raises serious concerns regarding planning and ratepayer contributions. Over the course of this program, spending on GSEP ballooned. Liberty spent over $215 million in the past 10 years. My team intends to delve deeper into this issue, including how much above the statutory limit the company spent year over year. To date, I believe the gas companies have failed to explain why GSEP costs increased so rapidly, surprising customers with a huge bill increase to cover the costs. Setting GSEP aside, Liberty proposes in this case a significant new program which will increase rates for years to come. This new way of setting rates, called a performance-based rate-making plan, or PBR plan, is intended for the company to invest in its infrastructure, but at a guaranteed return and increase year over year. I've seen these plans before from our electric utilities and other gas companies, and I have serious concerns. Too often, PBR plans become a blank check for utilities to steadily increase rates without any benefits for customers. My team is already reviewing Liberty's proposal and asking if PBR is in the best interests of these residents and businesses. As the department is well aware, energy affordability is top of mind for the Healy Driscoll administration. Last winter, customers across the Commonwealth were shocked by high winter bills. Governor Healy took several rapid actions to protect customers, and the department responded quickly, including your directive to gas companies like Liberty to lower rates immediately. The governor has also put forward a comprehensive affordability bill with the legislature that would save customers more than $13 billion over 10 years. With this affordability crisis so fresh in our minds, and following collaborations with Liberty on many issues to lower customer bills this year, again, I was shocked by this proposed increase. Through its intervention, DOER intends to closely examine Liberty's proposal and to identify for the department costs which should be rejected, thus protecting residents and businesses struggling with high energy burden. I thank the department for its careful consideration of the arguments to be made on behalf of ratepayers from interveners like DOER, and to similarly seek opportunities to reject this rate increase in protection of Liberty customers. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight and for your consideration of our arguments on behalf of ratepayers.
Thank you. On August 13th, 2025, Conservation Law Foundation's petition to intervene was granted. Also on August 13th, 2025, the department approved the petition to intervene of the Low Income Weatherization and Fuel Assistance Program Network, the Low Income Energy Affordability Network, and Citizens for Citizens Incorporated, collectively referred to as LEAN. I believe the attorneys for CLF and LEAN are unable to be here today, but that we might have comment from Citizens for Citizens. Please come on down. And before you start, if you could please state your name, spell it for the record. Wonderful. Thank you.
Also, could I request to have my testimony sworn in?
Of course. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please provide your comments.
Hello, my name is Liz Barabee, the Executive Director at Citizens for Citizens Incorporated, the community action agency serving low-income residents of the greater Fall River and Taunton areas. I am also the Secretary and member of the Massachusetts Community Action Agency Association, a member of LEAN, the Low Income Energy Affordability Network, and a governing board member of NUAC, the National Energy and Utility Affordability Coalition. I would like to thank the department for the opportunity to provide testimony. My testimony will be on behalf of my agency as well as two sister agencies that also administer the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as Fuel Assistance. They are Self-Help Incorporated, serving clients in the North Attleboro, Plainville, and Rentham service area, and South Middlesex Opportunity Council, providing services in the Blackstone and Bellingham areas. As Massachusetts community action agencies, we provide an array of services and programs such as Head Start, Women, Infants, and Children, volunteer income tax services, and food pantries, just to name a few. But one of our most life-saving and notable programs is the Home Energy Assistance Program. Our agencies provide fuel assistance benefits and energy efficiency services on behalf of over 7,600 low-income clients who specifically have Liberty Utilities as their primary heating vendor, with over 95% of those residing in the Citizens for Citizens service area. Our agencies have paid Liberty Utilities over $4.9 million in fuel assistance benefits within the last winter season alone. Fall River is among the lowest income areas in the Commonwealth, with approximately 35.3% of Liberty's residential customers earning less than $15,000 annually, as noted in Liberty's recent climate compliance plan. Within our own CFC client base, 57% of our eligible Liberty clients are at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. We, as advocates of low-income households within our service area, have an interest in the impact that this rate increase will have on our low-income clients. 73% of our CFC clients are either working, most living paycheck to paycheck, or elderly households living on fixed incomes. There is no extra money at the end of the month after paying for rent, food, medicine, car expenses, and utilities. Housing costs alone have skyrocketed, leaving people in the precarious situations and families have to make tough decisions as to what bills to pay. Thankfully, our fuel assistance program helps cover part of the winter bills, but the federal funding is uncertain and in any event not enough to cover the entire amount, and clients are responsible to pay what our agencies cannot. With increases of 37% for heating in the Greater Fall River and North Attleboro areas and 60.6% in the Blackstone service area, it is unimaginable to us how our clients are to keep up with their Liberty utility bills. For those who heat with another source and use Liberty for cooking and hot water, the increase is estimated to be approximately 80.9% on those bills. Furthermore, our funding usually comes from one source, the federal government, unless our state legislature allocates fuel assistance funding in a given year. And in those years, we are most grateful for our state legislators and governor's support. The current federal administration has LIHEAP budgeted at 0 for the upcoming FY26 season. Thankfully, we will have bipartisan support of our federal senators and representatives who will hopefully restore funding for the program. However, this program funding uncertainty is expected to continue for the next 3 years. Last winter, benefits for the year were set for natural gas heating customers from $430 to $1,025, based on a household's family size and total household gross income. Massachusetts uses the 60% estimated state median income, SMI, as our eligibility guideline, which may appear to be generous income limits, but it is due to the high cost of living within our state. This program for many working households is the only program for which they are eligible due to the SMI income guidelines. These working clients normally receive the lowest amount in benefits since their gross income is a little higher than other eligible clients. Although they are eligible for the 25% low-income discount, the proposed increase would be substantial and unaffordable and will be more than any applied discount. So in reality, their heating bills would increase as they receive the lowest amount in federal fuel assistance benefits. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is that people make choices when faced with decisions of what bills to pay. Some people make bad decisions, decisions that lead to having no heat during the winter or using unsafe methods to stay warm. Others somehow pay the heating bill but buy less food or don't fill that prescription. These are practices we see quite often at our agency, and as advocates, we really need to consider the ramifications such an increase to our community's heating and cooking bills may have on our friends, our neighbors, and our most vulnerable. Before I close, I would like to commend the local staff who work in Liberty's Fall River location. We have a positive working relationship with the customer service department, most notably Heather Parent, who is the supervisor, and her assistant, Ryan Pacheco, as well as Liberty's tenured staff of Ellen Farias and Jan Therian, who assist our agency with billing issues always in a quick and efficient manner. We also have had great working partnerships with Stephanie Tarak and her Liberty Energy Efficiency team. We work closely in providing energy efficiency services to our mutual clients and fully appreciate the funding we receive in order to do so. We also thank Tatiana Rock for her continued support for our agency's Operation Christmas program. I feel it is important to our community that the company still employs local residents and there is still an office within our city. But we were disappointed when the company decided to close the only Liberty location for customers to pay bills in person, receive answers to their questions, and receive other assistance. We would recommend that DPU order reopening of this office, staffed by customer service advocates, and offer an advocate program similar to that of National Grid, in which Liberty would provide an advocate at our fuel assistance location once or twice per month based on the need. Fall River is unusual in that people like to pay bills through means other than electronically. We would also request that the company donate charitable dollars to our agency, which we could use to assist our eligible low to moderate income Liberty utility clients by making a payment to stop a termination, restore service, or make a payment to reduce an energy burden on behalf of the Liberty customer. In closing, I hope that the department will consider the negative impact on the lives of our low-income clients in the Commonwealth who have Liberty Utilities as their vendor and disallow the proposed increase at the rate which they are requesting. Thank you for the time and allowing me to testify.
Thank you. We will now turn to the public comment portion of the hearing. As we do, please keep in mind the following instructions. The hearing is being transcribed by a stenographer, and the transcript will become part of the docket in each case. We also have several foreign language interpreters, and to ensure that the stenographer transcribes your comments accurately and the interpreters interpret your comments accurately, please speak clearly and at a moderate pace. When you speak, the stenographer may ask you to pause, slow down, or repeat yourself to ensure that they transcribe your comments accurately. Only one person should speak at a time. Because this hearing is a very important source of information for the department, we want to be sure that as many people as possible can speak today. I ask that each speaker keep their comments brief, and please be mindful of the fact that there might be other speakers who wish to comment. Please note that this is not an opportunity for all of you to provide your questions and comments about Liberty's proposal. It's not an opportunity to question the company. If you have questions for Liberty, they have representatives here today and a table out front where they can answer those questions. You can also contact them via the email addresses provided in the July 9th notice, copies of which are also out front. Similarly, this hearing is not an opportunity to question the department on how it will conduct its investigation. Because this is an ongoing investigation, the department is not permitted to discuss the substance presented in the company's petition. Now, when you entered today, there was a sign-up sheet at the front table where you could sign up to comment. And in addition, the department traditionally allows elected or appointed officials an opportunity to speak first. So I will ask for elected or appointed officials and then names from the sign-up sheet, and then anyone else who wishes to speak may do so. Are there any elected or appointed officials here today? Yes. And as they're coming to the microphone, I'll just remind everyone, when you get to the microphone, please provide your name, spell your name, and then you can provide your comments. Please feel free to move the microphone wherever is most comfortable.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Paul Coogan, the mayor of Fall River, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight on behalf of our residents and businesses in opposition to this proposed rate increase by Liberty Utilities. Before I share my concerns, I want to thank the commissioners, the Department of Public Utilities, representatives from Liberty, staff from the Attorney General's office, Executive Director Liz Barabee from Citizens for Citizens, and the many Fall River residents here tonight. Let me start by being clear. Liberty Utilities has been and continues to be a valued customer in Fall River. In 2020, Liberty committed to maintaining both its administrative offices and its gas operations in the city instead of finding a site outside of our city limits. That decision meant a great deal to us. Since then, my office has had a strong, respectful, and productive working relationship with Liberty, especially with the president, Tatiana Rock. Together, we've worked on a bunch of numerous community improvement efforts, both large and small. Liberty has coordinated its gas infrastructure replacement program with the city's Public Works Department, its safety and planning teams, and had helped to minimize disruption and maximize efficiency. They've also been deeply involved in community, contributing hundreds of volunteer hours and supporting local organizations like the Boys and Girls Clubs and the Salvation Army. Their presence in Fall River is impactful, not just providing natural gas service, but in countless hours of playground upkeep, food pantries, citywide litter cleanups, and other neighborhood events. So I want to be clear. This testimony is not a personal critique. It's about future burdensome energy costs and the ill timing of such a request. It's about affordability, and it's about what's right for the people of Fall River. Which brings me to my first concern, the timing of this rate increase. Liberty last filed a general rate increase more than 10 years ago. Why did they wait a decade? Though significant inflation, economic shifts, and regulatory changes before seeking an increase of this scale. The result is a proposal that places too great a burden on our customers all at once, especially during a difficult economic period. Today, Fall River residents and families across Massachusetts are already struggling with rising housing costs, healthcare bills, grocery, transportation. Massachusetts is one of the most expensive states in the country to live in. And let me make a few points. 24% of Fall River residents live below the federal poverty line, compared to the statewide average of just over 10. The median household income in Fall River is $57,000. Statewide, it's nearly $99,000. This proposed rate increase will fall disproportionately on the working class families, senior citizens on fixed income, and small businesses still recovering from the shocks of COVID and inflation. For many of these households and employers, natural gas is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And for some, this rate increase would mean the difference between staying current on their bills or falling behind, or worse, weighing the costs of energy, housing, and medical care. Massachusetts already ranks among the highest in the country for natural gas costs. While I understand that global energy markets influence supply prices, we must look critically at the rising non-gas supply charges. And if this rate case moves forward, Fall River residents and commercial companies will bear a disproportionate share of the burden. And Massachusetts has a long history of businesses fleeing to less costly, more efficient, business-friendly states. I want to raise a few specific recommendations for Liberty to consider. Reopen the customer walk-in center. This center was located at 36 Fifth Street and closed at the start of COVID. It never reopened. The center was critical to helping residents, particularly seniors and low-income residents without access to online banking, pay their bills and resolve service issues. It was centrally located near our downtown bus station and even had a Citizens for Citizens representative there regularly on site. I still receive calls in my office from residents asking where they can go to speak to someone in person or pay a bill at Liberty. I urge Liberty to revisit that decision and bring back face-to-face customer service in our city. Expand and promote the Mass Save and CFC programs. These programs have tremendous potential, especially for low-income residents and seniors, but participation rates are low. We need better outreach and easier access. The city is aggressively working with stakeholders and our customers to increase participation. Reassess the structure and clarity of the billing system. Quite frankly, many customers find their bills nearly impossible to understand. Greater transparency and simplicity would go a long way to understanding what we actually pay for our gas. And take a hard look at operational efficiencies. Before shifting costs to ratepayers, Liberty must clearly demonstrate that it has done everything possible to control internal spending, improve productivity, and find some savings. On behalf of the residents and businesses of Fall River, I respectfully urge the Department of Public Utilities to reject this rate increase as currently proposed. Let's find a path forward that balances operational needs with the real world challenges people in Fall River face every day. I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good evening. My name is Carol Fiola. I'm the state representative for the 6th Bristol District, which is where we are standing right now, half of Fall River and into Assonet. I'd like to thank the mayor. I agree with just about every one of his comments, and yes, Liberty has been a good citizen, but that doesn't take away from this, what would be an egregious increase to the citizens of Fall River and the rest of the service delivery area. I want to just comment, first of all, that I did already in writing, as I've urged others to do if they couldn't be here tonight, to send their comments to DPU. It's very, very important. You have till tonight. Did you extend that deadline at all?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Tomorrow is the deadline for anyone who knows someone who'd like to weigh in. That information is not only on the DPU website, but also on my Facebook, or you can find it anywhere pretty much. We did already, myself and the rest of the delegation that represents the service area of Liberty Utilities sent a letter to DPU, and I'd like to read that to you all for the record tonight. And it says, "Dear Commissioners, we write to you as members of the Massachusetts General Court to express our deep concern over the proposed gas rate increase submitted by Liberty Utilities, which is known as New England Natural Gas Company, and currently under review by the Department of Public Utilities in docket DPU 25-85. This proposal, if approved, would result in a staggering increase in monthly gas bills for many Massachusetts residents, raising rates by an average of 55.5%, with certain customer classes, specifically non-heating, low-usage households, seeing increases as high as almost 81%. This proposed rate hike would significantly burden the residents of the communities served by Liberty Utilities, which include Blackstone, Fall River, North Attleboro, Plainville, Somerset, Swansea, Westport, and parts of South Bellingham and Rentham. These towns are home to a broad range of residents, including many working families, seniors, and low-income households who are already burdened by housing costs, other rising utility bills, and general inflation. For heating customers using an average of 100 therms per month, although picking up on the mayor's comment, if I could digress, it took me, with the Liberty people over the phone, probably 40 minutes to even understand my gas bill. So I can't imagine many people. If you can read that gas bill clearly, I applaud you, because I could not. The average increase in Fall River and North Attleboro would be nearly $79. Low-income customers would also face significant increases, with some expected to pay nearly $60 more each month. Non-heating customers who use gas for cooking, water heating, and other purposes, and who fall into the category specifically designated to receive discounted rates based on their low incomes, would be hit hardest in percentage terms, facing increases exceeding 80%. For many, this is not a manageable cost. It is a crisis-level expense that could drive energy insecurity and financial distress. While we are encouraged by the Attorney General's intervention in this matter, including the retention of expert consultants to analyze Liberty's filing, and as of today, the governor has also pledged a thorough review, as heard earlier by DOER attorneys, her and administration support to do the same. We believe the Department of Public Utilities must also act in its oversight capacity. We urge you to oppose this rate increase and to consider the broader affordability and equity impacts this rate proposal would have on our constituents, alongside our continuing efforts to meet our climate goals. This proposed hike is not consistent with our shared commitment to economic fairness, energy affordability, and consumer protection. The state should not allow a utility monopoly to impose such steep increases at a time when families are already struggling to keep up with basic living costs. We implore you to please review this and make the right decisions on behalf of the constituents of all of us that are serviced by Liberty Utilities. And may I also add, and I don't, you can look this up, but when I saw earnings of $500 million in 2024 and 2025, I would encourage, as you look at that, to consider how much of a hardship it really would be on this company to hold off and really analyze those rates. Thank you all very much. May I also just add that this letter was also signed by State Representative Alan Sylvia, State Representative Steve Willett, State Representative Adam Scanlon, State Representative Marcus Vaughn, State Senator Paul Feeney, and State Senator Michael Rodrigues, all who reside in the service area for Liberty Utilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Talos Ferris. I am the Veteran Service Officer for the City of Fall River. I am an executive board member for the Massachusetts Veteran Service Officers Association. I'm also a member of the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers, although I'm not here representing any of those organizations, just as a veteran advocate and a resident of the city. Even with a recent raise that I just received, the rates being mentioned here tonight would kill my paycheck. And I make more than majority of the median income earners here in our city. Bristol County is within the top 3 of poorest counties here in the state of Massachusetts. That needs to be heavily considered. On top of the fact that, just from a personal standpoint, Liberty has come into this city and ripped our streets apart over the course of the last 4 months. I personally had to take at least 2 or 3 different occasions out of work just for them to do work on my home. I don't know how anyone is expected to survive these types of increases. My office works daily with veterans in need, hand in hand with the executive director here from the CFC. At one point, I was also on their fuel assistance program, but once I got hired into this job, just as a matter of point, and my better half can tell you she was not a fan, I pulled myself off that program because I was making more money than the average household was making in this city. With those proposed increases, I'll be filing. Common sense has to play here. And to call a spade, it seems like the cart was placed before the horse. The city itself is going through a transition. Yes, we all know that. But to expect these types of increases to be paid over the course of the next 5 years with people at a rate of $15,000 or less trying to live off of that and having to make the decision whether or not to feed their children or to heat their home through the winter is absolutely absurd. I need this commission to look at several things. One, how much did they pay the contractors to come in and rip up our streets? More than once. Anybody in here can attest to that. We didn't tell them to acquire Blackstone. Why should we have to pay to help them recoup costs for that? Of course, I didn't do my homework on this. This was something that you guys propelled me up here to do tonight because of what I heard. But common sense has to play a role here. If we cannot do what's needed to make sure that the average poor person in this county, not just in the city, can survive the winter, or if the state is not willing to put up enough money to help fund organizations like the CFC, then a third of our city is just going to be out in the cold after the first couple of bills throughout the winter. These are the types of questions I think need to be asked. I think it also needs to be looked into how much money, besides the billions that the state rep just mentioned, how much are these CEOs getting paid? How much are they getting paid to the point where they believe that one of the poorest counties in the state of Massachusetts can afford to pay them even more? What new did you provide? I don't see anything new going on other than the people running around ripping up the streets here in this city. You remove my meter twice just to put it outside. Simple things have to happen here. If the commission can please take into account the simplest of understandings. There are a lot of poor people in this county. There are a lot of poor people in this city. No one here can afford the raises that they are talking about. And if any of you live in Bristol County, you know that to be true. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other elected or appointed officials who wish to speak? Seeing none, we will turn to the sign-up sheet for members of the public. First name I have here is Heidi Collins. And as she's making her way down, I'll just remind everyone again, please state your name, spell it for the record, and then speak slowly for our stenographer and interpreters. If it's easier to just take it out, please feel comfortable doing that.
Good evening. My name is Heidi Collins, Heidi-Collins, and I'd like to thank the hearing officer, the commissioners, and the Department of Public Utilities. I am a homeowner in the city of Fall River and also the director of programs for a local nonprofit organization, the Southeast Center for Independent Living, also referred to as SKILL. And I'm here today as SKILL serves low-income and moderate-income families in our community, and most of those that we serve are individuals with disabilities and seniors on fixed incomes. I'm here to strongly oppose Liberty Utilities' proposed rate increase. As a longtime community advocate for low to moderate-income families for over 30 years, this increase is not just a number on paper. It represents a serious and harmful burden on households that are already struggling to keep up with rising costs of housing, groceries, and basic necessities, which many who spoke before me have alluded to. For families living paycheck to paycheck, every dollar matters. An increase of this magnitude would force many to make impossible choices between paying for utilities or other essentials like food, medication, or even childcare. As a homeowner, I understand and experience firsthand how a rate hike of this magnitude will strain monthly budgets. I've seen it myself. For many working families and seniors living on fixed incomes, this increase isn't just an inconvenience, it's a serious financial threat. We see people living in cars because of the high cost of housing or inability to pay their mortgage, and so this is just going to add to the problem within our community. This kind of jump could push already stretched households into missed payments, mounting penalties, and even the risk of disconnection. Through my nonprofit, I see firsthand how hard the people we employ each and every day are working to stay afloat. Many of our consumers are single parents, seniors, and individuals with disabilities, as I mentioned. They're already stretched too thin. And this rate increase would only deepen the cycle of financial insecurity and hardship. We cannot continue to prioritize corporate profits over the basic needs of people who live and work in this community and pay taxes. Liberty Utilities is a large corporation that reports strong earnings, yet it's asking hardworking families, many already struggling, to keep the heat on, to shoulder an even greater financial burden. This is not shared sacrifice. It's an unjust shift of course from profitable corporations onto vulnerable households. Heat is not a luxury. It's a basic human need, especially in our cold winters. We're already starting to see that. No family should have to choose between staying warm and putting food on the table while a utility company increases rates to protect or expand its profit margins. Raising rates is simply not sustainable for the people who make up the backbone of this community. And I am a long-time resident of Fall River and voter, and I appreciate my own state representative, Carol Fiola, for coming here this evening and testifying in opposition to this rate increase. I appreciate you, Carol, all the time for standing up for us. As a community member and nonprofit leader, I urge the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities to reject this proposed rate hike. We need solutions that protect consumers, not policies that further squeeze those less able to afford them. Thank you for your time and considering the very real human impact of this proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next name is Taylor Perry.
Hello. Thank you for listening to me. I'm not going to lie, I am nervous, but we'll
Just
get through
state
this
your
all
name.
together,
Yep.
right?
Just state your name and spell it.
Taylor Perry, Taylor. Perry, Perry.
Thank you.
To the commissioners, I stand here today not as a politician, not as a spokesperson for any corporation, but as a citizen, parent, and taxpayer of Fall River who had enough of being squeezed nickel dimes and ignored while our bills go up and our quality of life goes down. Liberty Utilities has once again pushed for an outrageous rate increase, and I am here to say absolutely not. Fall River families are already struggling. Gas bills are higher, groceries are higher, rents are higher, and now Liberty wants to raise rents again, as if we're bottomless pockets for their profit. Let's be clear, it isn't about operational costs or infrastructure improvements. This is about greed, pure and simple. Liberty has consistently reported profits in the millions, while our residents are choosing between heat for their home and feeding their children. Our children already rely on lunch school programs. They're going to need to rely on school for heat now. We are tired. I have a proposal. Our governor has to do is open a natural gas line pipe to ease energy prices. Instead of local and state politicians shut down power plants and kill the LNG projects, and now stand silent while delivery charges are not fuel costs, crush households. Citizens know who to thank for this mess, who have paved the way for these utility companies to profit expenses. Our community sees what's happening. Utilities rates 37% while support programs shrink. Working family must apply for aid just to survive. Parents are forced into multiple jobs, never seeing their children. Pantry lines and school supply drives are overflowing. Politicians approve hikes and block solutions with family will freeze. We're tired of being taken advantage of by corporations that don't live here, don't invest here, don't care about the hardship they create here. We are not statistics in a quarterly report. We are people, and this community deserves respect. Where is the accountability? Where is the protection for the working class? We demand that our city leader, our state representatives, and the Department of Public Utilities stand up for us, not for Liberty Utilities. We will not quietly accept another increase that benefits shareholders while it punishes the seniors, it punishes the single parents and family already drowning in costs. So tonight, let's be clear, for the record, Fall River does not approve of Liberty's rate hike. We will not tolerate corporate exploitation under the excuse of necessary adjustments. And we will continue to speak, organize, and fight until fairness, transparency, and respect for our citizens come first. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next name is Jordan Sylvia. Jordan? Oh, in the hall. Thank you. And if you could just spell your name and then provide your comments.
Spell my name, that's a tricky one. I wasn't prepared for that. Jordan James Sylvia, Jordan Silvia. So, my daughter's going to disarm me because I came here to bring fire and brimstone for all the people at home who I represent along in Fall River, not in official elected capacity, but just the people that I know. And I think, honestly, this whole thing is like a giant criminal activity happening right now, to be completely frank. I only have a lowly Durfee High School diploma and actually an associate's degree from BCC, which you guys are right now. But the government in cahoots with companies to set prices, and the company comes to you and says, pay me 37% more, or you can't heat your home in the winter, is like a criminal. It's like an act of violence against people in Fall River. I have a pizza place right now. They're selling pizza, operates heavily on gas usage. And sorry, I was trying to keep a 2-year-old busy in the hallway. But yeah, all kidding aside, this whole system is, like I said, it's a farcical communist thing that's happening. There is not supposed to be collusion between the government and huge billion-dollar corporations. People talk about fascism. I thought this was the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and they don't like stuff like that, Antifa, anti-fascist activities, but that's not what happens in commonplace with our gas bills. I don't want to pay for people's free weatherization of their houses, green energy scams by politicians who are elected by less than 10% of the city of Fall River. That's how many people show up to vote. There's zero mandate from these people who got to speak before me because they're elected, allegedly, You know, it's like Animal Farm. So everyone's equal, some might more equal than others. I had to bring my kids here because I couldn't afford another babysitter tonight. But hey, listen, my problems are first world problems. I've gone to meetings for the last 10 years when these people have been in charge, these elected people, and I've seen 80-year-old ladies talk about fill my prescription or buy their government trash bags. Now it's gas. It's like I'm constantly accused of being gaslit, right? That things are actually great. We have an election in a couple weeks. That's why Paul Coogan's here. And they tell you everything's great. They actually take more of our money in taxes. It isn't just a gas increase. It's groceries, right? It's property taxes, the whole thing. It's out of control. And I'll be up here and I'll stand up here and I'll admit it in front of people. I can afford it. You know what I mean? I can, thank God, because I rejected all the communist stuff they taught me in Durfee and BCC and UMass Dartmouth. So I learned how to make money in Fall River. Guess what? I'm in the slim 1% minority in Fall River, right? Because all my friends, I come from, now here's the thing. I wasn't born on second or third base. I come from Maple Gardens. I know you guys don't know where that is. It's a project in Fall River. So I know people from Citizen for Citizen. Josh Hetzel was saying, I don't think I've ever had them pay a gas bill for me. But I lived in public housing, government housing, welfare when it was still government cheese when I was a kid, right? So I know that side of the street. And a lot of my friends still live there. You know what I mean? So I'm here for them, mostly than myself. But I have 4 kids. You know what I mean? I'm paying for, like I said, I'm making pizzas right now using gas. Thank you for your product. But again, it's a strong arm operation. I was taught about trust busters. I don't know if it was Teddy Roosevelt. But like I said, if you're the only game in town, you know what I mean? We don't have a choice. We can't say no. I imagine the DPU understands that. I imagine the people here from the DPU are like far more credentialed than I am. I have an associate's degree from BCC, so I imagine they understand. You seem like an intelligent person that poor people in Fall River can't afford a 3% increase. Never mind tenfold that. If you guys ever, everyone online right now in the comment section on FRC Media is saying this is a waste of time to go. The politicians don't care. They're going to jack your rates anyway. And they're right. You know what I mean? They're right. So I guess I came down here to waste my time and at least get a little pound of flesh verbally from people. You know what I mean? I served my country. I'm an Iraq war veteran, right? So I have the right to come up here and chastise my incompetent, corrupt government. So Maura Healey down to Paul Coogan, who just ran out of here. You know what I mean? And I'm not satisfied. But again, if you don't like my pizza, you can go to Domino's, right? If I don't like Liberty Mutual, guess what? I got to move to another country, I guess. You know what I mean? So that's what I came here to say. I'm hoping the people online are going nuts saying, thank you, Jordan, for somebody representing us. The politicians who came here, they take more money than even Liberty Mutual does. So it's fun that they come up here 3 weeks before an election. I see Carol Fiola here and act like they care about the citizens of Fall River. It's massively insulting to anyone with a brain. You know what I'm saying? And I hope to God, I don't think the DPU is gonna change their schedule to increase or Liberty. Again, nobody wants to find out what the CEO of Liberty Union, I keep thinking Liberty Mutual because I sue insurance companies all the time. But honestly, on a serious note, on a sad, dark note, I see terrible things happening in this country. The Luigi Mangionis, right? I'll take it to a real place because that's how I talk, right? People are extremely fed up. I am the most nonviolent person you'll ever meet, but people are just fed up out there. It's real deal stuff. You know, you come in with suits and they steal more money from people than the average drug addict in Fall River on the street. You know what I mean? I guess I'll leave it at that. I wish it was more pleasant, but this is how I talk in public meetings. And again, I do hope anyone here, you seem like an intelligent guy. You seem like you have a soul, right? People in Fall River, bro, are getting smoked. And the government tells them that the economy is great and the stock market's at record highs. You know what I'm saying? So the American dream is dead in Fall River. 3-family I bought 7 years ago for $200,000 is going for 6, 7, 8 now. You know, they can't afford rent, never mind gas, right? Everyone's cut cable years ago. You know, they're all pirating internet from years ago. All kidding aside, it's tough out there for people in Fall River, especially when you come to a place like Fall River, Brockton, New Bedford, Wellesley, they can afford the 37%. They think it's great because it's good for the climate. You know what I'm saying? They can afford to be good for the climate. They can afford to like preach their hoaxes, you know, the green energy scam. Fall River, dude, nobody wants that here, okay? Thank you guys. And I mean that. Like, you do seem like a nice gentleman. I don't know you through a hole in the wall. You're listening to me intently. The politicians in Fall River don't even do that. So I appreciate that, okay, sir? And I do appreciate you guys. I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next name on the list is Michael Canuel. And as always, just spell your name when you get to the microphone. Please put it where it's comfortable for you.
Michael Canuel, Michael-Canuel. Good evening. My name is Michael Canuel, and I live in Fall River with my wife and 3 young boys. I'm speaking tonight in strong opposition to Liberty Utilities' proposed rate increase under DPU 2585. The company asking for $55.8 million in additional base distribution revenue, about a 55% jump on the average customer's total bill. For many households in Fall River, that means paying $75 to $80 more per month. That is simply unaffordable for working families and seniors already struggling with inflation. Liberty says this increase is needed for infrastructure improvements. Much of that work represents catch-up projects, spending that could have been phased in over prior years. Customers should not be asked to pay a profit return on projects that address past delays in infrastructure investment. I also want to note that Liberty's proposed increase includes the transfer of capital investments from 2015 through 2024 into base distribution rates. Customers have been paying delivery-related charges for years, intended to maintain and upgrade the system. If a large portion of past delivery revenue could have been covered by these GSEP costs, asking for a retroactive rate increase might essentially be double charging ratepayers. The DPU should ensure customers are only paying for costs not already covered by past delivery revenue. Furthermore, Liberty's parent, Algonquin Power and Utilities, told investors on June 3, 2025, that it expects to raise earned returns on equity by roughly 300 basis points by 2027, while cutting operating costs and expanding its $7.9 billion rate base. These are investor-focused financial targets, which underscores the importance of DPU oversight to ensure ratepayer funds are spent prudently and safely. I urge the Department of Public Utilities to deny or sharply reduce this request, or to every affiliate charge and deferred cost item, and hold Liberty accountable for addressing prior infrastructure gaps efficiently and effectively. Residents have already paid for safe, reliable service. They should not pay again with interest simply because past investment was delayed. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chris Peckham? I think I'm reading that right. You're good.
Good evening. My name is Chris Peckham, C-H-R-I-S-P-E-C-K-H-A-M, and I'm speaking tonight as a resident of Fall River. I'm here tonight because a 37% increase in gas rates, nearly $80 more per month for the average family, is unacceptable for a community already struggling with high housing and utility costs. Residents and small businesses are doing their part to conserve energy, yet they're being asked to shoulder the burden of corporate rate hikes. Many families in our city are choosing between heating their homes and putting food on the table. With Liberty being a monopoly franchise in Massachusetts, it is egregious to consider such an increase to our residents here in Fall River, some with yearly incomes below the poverty line, just because you can due to lack of competition. Taking from the poor to benefit shareholder profits is disgusting. Fall River families need accountability and fairness, not another bill they can't afford. Thank you for your time and for hearing from me directly. And I pray for us that this doesn't happen. Have a good night.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to be heard? Yes, please. As always, once you get there, state your name, spell it for the record, and then you may begin.
Hello. My name is Sarah Cavallo. Sarah Cavallo. SARACARVALHO. I'm a resident here in Fall River. This 37% increase is absolutely insane. Insane. And this, you guys plan on increasing this for more by 2030? Do you realize how people in Fall River, citizens in Fall River, are struggling already to pay their rents, working 2-3 jobs? So now you're going to have either pay a gas bill or put food on the table to feed their kids. And our high reps here, our mayor, our state representatives, you need to do more for our citizens and get to the bottom of this. Okay? Because in my opinion, you've done absolutely nothing. Nothing for this city. Are they still here, or did they leave? They're gone. Of course they're gone. Yeah, they don't want to hear the truth, okay? Listen, Fall River, in Fall River, we don't have good enough paying jobs, period. There's not enough good paying jobs for these people. I mean, this isn't, like, this blows my mind. And, you know, this is, I call it corporate greed. That's what I call it. Okay? We have Fall River is really like a poor city, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Okay? We got home. Imagine. So you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to be turning on the heat. Then pipes get frozen. Especially if they have children, what's going to happen then? And then you're going to have the ones that are probably going to use heaters, you know, the ones that you plug in, and that's a safety hazard. Okay? We don't want the same thing that happened at the Gabriel house. Okay? That was no need for that. We don't want it to get to that point. I'm a landlord. I have good tenants. 2 of my apartments, I pay for the gas. But if this goes up like this, I have no choice but to. I don't want to. I have, like I said, good tenants that have been living there 12 or more years. I don't want to raise their rents. Okay? Oh, yeah. Another thing that was said, high rents are good for Fall River. Duh. And that was coming from our mayor, Coogan. How is that possible? People are struggling, working 2-3 jobs to pay just their rents. Never mind an increase like this. 37% now? And these guys are not going to stop till 2030? That's insane. Have some compassion. Have some compassion for the citizens of Fall River, New Bedford, and what the other city that you're talking about increasing. And, yeah, putting in new pipes. How many times you got to put pipes on these streets? Gas lines. Our streets look like crap. It's patches everywhere. Cones. I thought you guys had put in new gas lines, but I was told that you guys went only under 4 feet, when in reality, it should have been dug down 6 feet. That's why it's being redone all over. That's not our problem. That's your problem. The contractor's problem. It's not our problem to be paying for this. So with that said, I hope you reject this for the sake of all the residents in Fall River, the elderly, our veterans, especially our veterans. So please take this in consideration. It's not our fault. If something was done wrong in this city, it's not the citizens' fault. So don't come back and increase our gas bills to make up for this, because it was not our fault. So with that said, please take that into consideration, because I hope you reject this, because a lot of people will be hurting. It's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So I thank you for listening to me, and hopefully you guys will come to a good decision for everybody. Because like I said, we have a lot going on in this world. We know that. But this increase is insane. And you want to increase it more and more until 2030? Well, we're going to be living in tents on the street. We won't be able to afford. What are you going to be able to afford? Come on. It's veterans, it's the elderly, it's these families with children.
How much is it for rent in the city of Fall River go for?
Between $1,500 and $2,100.
Exactly, yes. 15, yes. And like our mayor, Coogan, says that high rents are good in Fall River. Yeah, okay. No, it's not. Because a lot of people are hurting. And as a homeowner, I feel bad. I feel bad for the renters, the citizens, everybody. I feel bad for everybody. Because we're all in this together. And not just speaking for myself. I speak for all homeowners, all renters in this city. Because our higher-ups need to do more for us taxpayers, be more on our side. They need to do more because they have the power. But obviously, sometimes you think they don't care. They don't care. As long as something is benefiting them, they don't care about us. And we, the people, we have had enough. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have a line of folks who want to comment, so I'll just have you come next, please.
Sorry.
If you
short
don't
row
want to stand in
problems.
line, well, we will get to everyone. Don't worry. I don't want anyone standing if they can't or don't want to. If you would please state your name, spell it, and then you can begin.
Sure. My name is Sabrina Zach. Sabrina is Sabrina. Zach is Z-A-K. So I not only serve as the Director of Environmental Justice for the Coalition for Social Justice, I'm also a ratepayer. My organization is dedicated to working on issues that affect low-income people, including those just on the cusp of financial assistance. So I'm going to first testify as my work, and then I'm going to give you a piece of my mind as a ratepayer, because this is obscene. I want to emphasize just how severe of an impact this has on our families that are struggling to make ends meet, like we just heard. This is, the advertising on this hearing wasn't great. and leaves much to be desired. I had very little time to get the word out, to get people here tonight in order to testify, because though we're not a direct service organization, we do refer people out when they call us needing help for things like rent and utility assistance. This is stuff that we hear at the doors, like the housing's one of our biggest issues right now. You know, if they're already having problems staying in their homes, how do you think they're gonna afford their utilities? You know, historically speaking, when we've looked at other rate hikes, very little actually goes back into the community. Referencing Eversource's rate hike, only 2% went back into the community. Where did the rest of that rate hike money go to? And it's pretty sad as a ratepayer that my delivery charge is higher than my actual usage. I'd like to know, I'm sure as many others in this room would like to know, where the rest of that money goes. Because I don't think that the delivery charge should be more than our usage charge. That is obscene. I'll be submitting more detailed comments because I don't want to repeat what was already said, but you know, I'm gonna have to be the bearer of this news to the people that I represent in the community. I'm gonna be hearing about this and all the stories of the fallout from this rate hike. I'm gonna get an increase of calls where I'm gonna have to refer them to organizations that are already struggling due to the federal cuts in aid. There are a whole section of people that I represent that are gonna be kicked off their health insurance in January. I might be one of them. I might be one of them forced off my health insurance due to the current political climate and forced onto my husband's, which is way more costly with my severe health issues. My father's on oxygen. Their bill went up 300% when they moved into their new apartment. And we have to put in a special status for him so he doesn't get turned off every 3 months. Every 3 months. Are we going to do that for gas? Because if they don't have gas, these people with medical issues, they're going to die. You're going to kill people. You're going to murder people with this rate hike. People are going to freeze. People are going to die in fires from using those electric heaters that are not safe. You know, I used to be in that situation, choosing between what I'm going to pay. And that's what you're forcing here. People will die without their proper medications. People will die from lack of heating. You know, and people will suffer from lack of food. Fiscally, I don't think it's, we're talking about something that people must have to survive in this area. It should be a public good. And it should be focused on weighing out what's best for community members. Because frankly, I don't care if your CEO can afford another vacation home. And I don't care about your shareholders. And the fact that, you know, there's only one company, it's a forced monopoly. People have no choice. That's why you're getting away with stuff like this. Yep. And I think it should be outlawed. Yeah. So I do feel like this is a time where we need to enforce our antitrust laws, because this feels a lot like a trust. But I'm going to let others speak. Yeah.
Thank you.
So my name is Albert Araujo, A-L-B-E-R-T, A-R-A-U-J-O, and I'm a Fall River resident. And I'm providing some testimony with anecdotal evidence, basically based on my own particular situation and my own projections of what's going to happen in the next year. So I'm projecting that my health insurance costs are going to increase pretty substantially. Right now, I'm on Social Security retirement. So my Medicare premium is supposed to increase substantially, and so my contributions to that will increase substantially. All my expenses for my medical care are going to increase because of inflation and the reduction in different kinds of benefits that I have been receiving. As been alluded to with other speakers, the current political climate is one of retraction of different kinds of support subsidies that we've been receiving. And so all of those costs are going to be borne now on the recipient of those subsidies. So all of that's going to happen. My ability to earn some kind of additional income is kind of very, very limited. I wouldn't mind taking a job if someone would be willing to hire somebody that's pretty handicapped in a lot of ways, but you know. So my options going forward is tightening the belt kind of situation, and with all of the costs increasing substantially as they are, this is becoming, you know, kind of a, I guess, a Sisyphean, you know, Sisyphus, the god who had to push the rock up the mountain for the rest of his life. Anyway, that's the kind of task that we're looking at as elders. I guess I would like to make a proposal, though, because I understand that there are a lot of corporate pressures, and, you know, I'm not like, you know, totally against capitalism as such. I mean, I think, you know, we all kind of deserve to make a living and make a profit if we can. The company deserves it just as much as I deserve it. If there was a way, maybe in the future, to take the consumer voice, you know, inside company deliberations, you know, inside the boardroom, you know, inside some of these rate commissioners, you know, bring us to the table, you know, and let us alert you to the situation on the ground, as opposed to, you know, all right, you know, it's the last minute, you know, this is what's going to happen, and we want your response to it. And, you know, we're just like, oh my God, you know, the house is on fire kind of situation. If there was a way to use market forces, I know Massachusetts don't really like using market forces, but if there were a way of using market forces to sort of ameliorate, you know, minimize the impact on especially vulnerable communities, is there a way that vulnerable communities can participate in somewhat of the profit sharing somehow? Suppose they could, you know, shave costs off of their expenses. Can they profit? Can they, you know, benefit in more ways than just putting on 3 sweaters this winter? I don't know. I mean, I'm not at the table, so I don't know how those deliberations go. And I don't think there's anybody in my kind of a situation at that table, or any table, right? We're just recipients of all of the decisions that are being made. And as you can see, people are getting kind of upset about it. So anyway, that's my recommendation. I think as a personal, you know, just as a personal issue, you know, this is going to have an impact. Right? It's going to have an impact, and I'm going to have to make adjustments, you know, in other areas of my life to accommodate it. But I think I might be kind of a little better off than a lot of people, because I can actually make that adjustment. And I'm very, very fearful there are a lot of people who cannot even make that kind of an adjustment. So thank you for letting me speak, and thank you for coming and hearing us.
Thank you. Wherever you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I am short. Give me a minute. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Buenos noches, a good evening, bonne nuit to everyone who is listening. My name is Allison Horrigan, ALISONHORRIGAN. My husband and I, we live in the Westport area. And I am fortunate enough to be home with my young son, and my husband is self-employed. But also that means that the 20 or so years that I worked for New Bedford Public Schools, I am not taking home that income. So we are a single income household. And we had to get off of the health insurance that I had through my job and purchase our own, and my husband is a contractor. So we pay more for our health insurance right now than we do for our mortgage. And I did a quick PowerPoint, and the title of it is Tone Deaf. We cannot afford to pay for our own gallows. Just a heads up, I will be referencing some political ideas that represent my thoughts and feelings. I don't feel like everyone has to agree with them, but if you just stick with me, you might get around to some things that we do agree on. So working people are economically tapped out. We need to be able to afford to pay for the resources that we use, not company prospecting. Utilities need to be affordable because they create the very health and safety conditions in which we live. They are not luxuries, as other people have mentioned, and there are no alternatives to electricity and gas. Are you paying attention to the politics and the economics? You need to lower these percentages. In present times, the President of the United States doesn't believe in the Constitution. There's a radical Project 2025 fascist authoritarian techno-surveillance future on the horizon. Congress is in full-on shutdown, and our healthcare is being held hostage. We don't really know what our premiums, copays, and deductibles will be in just a few months, but we know that they are going to go up, and they're saying that they could double or triple. Approximately 300,000 government jobs are now gone. The cost of living is astronomical, and electrical is also increasing its rates. Oh, and there's now a masked federal secret police force violently abducting average everyday people, including some American citizens, and putting others into for-profit private prisons that have zero oversight. It gets worse every day. Economists and stock market researchers are predicting a possible impending recession and/or depression. Tariffs are making the stock market less stable, unemployment is increasing, and this is not the time to be asking people to pay an average of 50% more on their bills, and as was also reported, 90% more over 10 years. Meanwhile, I just bought 12 eggs the other day from the farmer's market for $6.50. There is wide reporting that utilities are also going up due to the increasing development and prospecting of the development of data centers. You say you want $60 million in a time of overall uncertainty while your companies net billions in profits. To quote page 1 of the page that you printed out from Liberty, I don't know what you want to call it, the printout from them, Liberty seeks to increase its gas-based distribution rates to generate approximately $55.8 million in additional revenues. Not only am I saying that you already have it because your companies have an average $1 billion of net worth, however, I think that you're going to get much more than $55.8 million because if we go back and look at our area, just to quote page 2, A residential heating customer in the Fall River North Attleboro service area, receiving service under rate 3 that uses an average of 100 therms of gas per month during the winter season, will experience a monthly bill increase of approximately $78.86, an approximate 37.0% increase in current rates. So if you take the 67,000 residents, someone said today 61,000, but we went to the town hall and they said 67. So this projection is maybe off by 6,000 people. 78.86 times 67,000 residents is $5,283,620 for 1 month. Multiply that by 12, and you get $63,403. I mean, $63,403,441. I'm sorry. And that's only with what is projected for our area, $80 about for 37% increase. However, our bill, when we go back and look at it, it's not 100 therms. It was 271.6 therms for the winter. And February was even higher. February was 331 therms. So my husband and I did the math, and we're going to pay an average of about $200, $888. Who knows what it will be exactly, but somewhere around there per month in the winter. We turned our heat on today, so we're looking at November, December, January, February, into March. That's more than the $55.8 million than you're asking for. $200 a month extra from us when we have one income, that's too much. We can't afford it. In the middle of a political and economic crisis in the U.S., these increases are simply too much. We want to pay for gas, not upcharges. We can't afford it. The distribution adjustment charges that are listed on your bill, they're more than half of the bill. And what do they equate to? I like these ideas of transparency because there isn't a clear description. The quote is, the DAC includes customers' contribution to conservation, environmental, and industry restructuring programs. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean your future that you're trying to purchase into data centers? Does it mean, as you have said before, that it's the pipelines that need to be rebuilt? I think that we need to get a vote as to whether our money is getting used to proliferate work and infrastructure that we agree with. There needs to be more transparency for what we are actually paying for. You're asking my family for 37% more, but we are not earning 37% more in our wages. We have lost income as I am home with my son, and the price of everything is increasing. You're asking for more in the middle of a political and economic crisis in the United States. People are stretched thin as it is, and on top of that, we are scared. You need to bring down these percentages for residents. How much does your company distribute to shareholders quarterly? The rest of us get paychecks, and they go fast. So in this 10 years when Liberty puts in for another rate increase, you all are going to be on this side of the room, because it is projected that in 5 to 10 years from now, there will be tens, maybe millions of jobs that are going to be eliminated due to AI. So think about where you are going to be in 10 years when a computer has taken over your job and your income is fixed and your utility rates are going up. You will be over here with us, and it will be confusing to try to make that work in your mind. So thank you, and please consider forming a union to save your job from robots. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Brian Curt, B-R-I-A-N-C-U-R-T, and I'm a Fall River resident. Now, what's been stated several times is that the company wants to increase what they call gas-based distribution rates, and that's where they want to generate this $55.8 million in additional revenue. According to the company, this is, and I quote, an increase of approximately 45% in total operating revenues. My question is, why are they increasing their total operating revenues by 45% at one shot? Liberty states that its cost of service and revenue deficiency reflects the Blackstone Gas acquisition in 2020. Any deficiency caused by that acquisition of Blackstone should be borne by the stockholders, not by the people who use the gas, because it has nothing to do with gas distributing to us. It's just a management decision. So the rate holder should not have to pay for that. Liberty is also seeking $50 million more through reconciling mechanisms, whatever that means. The bottom line is we're already over $100 million, 55 and 50. Now, you know, they're going to soften the blow a little bit by taking the interest in 2026 and the rest of it in 2027 and do it over a 5-year period. Now, they've already asked for $55.8 million. In addition to that, on the base distribution rates, Liberty wants to adjust the rates annually for the next 5 years. Now, this is going to be the rate of inflation up to 5% cap, and includes costs for outside of the company's control. They're saying it includes depreciation-related proposals, adjustments to certain revenues, expense categories, and recovery of capital investments made in 2025. Companies, normally when they do capital investments, they don't get it paid back immediately. It's depreciated over a period of 20, 30, or 40 years. Why is this going to go into the rate structure? So are they going to charge us for it now, and then over the next 30 years get paid back again, the same cost, get double charged? Now, in 2028, the company wants a one-time adjustment to their BPR adjustment account for investments made in 2026 and 2027. So this is in addition to everything else I mentioned. They want a one-time adjustment for that. The company wants to change certain reconciling mechanisms, but they're not mentioning what the cost is of those certain reconciling mechanisms. There's no cost mentioned there. So it's an open checkbook, if you will. The company wants to charge the ratepayers the cost of moving the headquarters. Why are the people who consume gas paying for them to move their headquarters? That's a stockholder thing. The stockholders should get less in their dividends. It has nothing to do with us paying for gas. If it has to do with gas getting it to us, that's one thing. This is just moving the headquarters. That has nothing to do with us paying. The company wants to equalize the base distribution rates for Blackstone, Fall River, and North Attleboro. But it doesn't say which locale is going to go up. So Fall River shouldn't pay for Blackstone being paid less than us. If they're going to increase the rates and Blackstone's the one that's lower, Blackstone's rate should go up, not Fall River and not North Attleboro, because it's basically not fair. Basically, they're the ones who absorbed it. They indicate that the low-income total bill discount will be maintained, but they're not saying if it's going to change. Is it going to be the same? Is it going to increase, or is it going to decrease? They're just saying the wording that was in the public thing, the public notice, was they're going to maintain it. If they could, this thing could give them the right to just adjust it so the low-income people might get less. It doesn't state that, but it doesn't say it doesn't either. Now, again, they're going to raise Fall River and North Attleboro rates by 37%. There's also, in addition to all this other stuff, they're saying that there's an additional less significant bill increases in May 2027. In addition to everything else that I've talked about, they want to do something on top of that. Now, they're saying it's less significant. So 50 million is significant. So is that 10 million? Is it 5 million? It's still real money, and somebody's going to pay for it. The other thing I'd like you people to do, if you can, is in the public notice they put in the newspaper, they didn't use some of the terms on my gas bill, because I looked at it, and I was trying to see some of the words. If they're going to put a public notice out, they should equate it to what we have, so all of the people in this room can pull their gas bill out and see, okay, this is what's going to cost me in this category, in this other category. They didn't do that. They just used different terminology, so it's like we're talking apples and oranges, and we should be talking the same thing. So please get them to change that. You guys can do it because you're the regulators, and you should be able to tell them how to put this in the newspaper. And the other thing, I heard someone earlier talk about something GSEF, which is, they're saying, oh, it's to replace leaky gas lines. Well, some years ago, they did the gas lines on my street. And I asked the gas company guy why they're doing this. And what he told me was not that. What he told me was the federal government said that all metal gas lines have to be replaced by 2054. So that's why they're doing the whole city, because most of the lines in Fall River are metal, and they have to get rid of them by 2054. So they have to be doing every street in Fall River. That's why they're digging them all up. That's what I was told by a gas company employee. So it's not just for leaks. It's because the federal government said they have to do it. So, I mean, but that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Lima, Jonathan-Lima. I'll keep this short and I believe on point, right? Fall River has been my home my entire life. This is a very, very hardworking and good community. And the reality is that, what all these people are here telling you is absolutely right. There are a lot of very good people in Fall River that cannot and will not afford this type of increase. On top of that, I'd just like to fill in a little bit of the context of the numbers and some of the things that we've been talking about. A few of the people that have spoken have alluded to corporate greed, and they are absolutely correct, okay? The CEO for Liberty Utilities, total compensation for 2024 was $3.06 million, okay? Who here made $3 million last year? Wasn't me, all right? The net income listed by Liberty Utilities last year was $316 million, which is a net income following up over $500 million in 2023 that they wrote in. So they're paying their CEO $3 million. Over the last 2 years, their net income has been close to $900 million. And they're going to come to the hardworking men and women of a poor community like Fall River and suggest that we need to ante up all the revenues needed for every repair. And that's part of to me, that's part of the cost of doing business, right? Like Jordan was up here earlier talking about his pizza place. If he needs to fix his pizza oven, he can't go to the taxpayers and say, you need to reimburse me for that investment. Right? You're a gas company. That's what you do. And you're making a ton of money doing it. Amen. All right? On top of that, we are already burdened with significant cost. Okay? The average in Massachusetts, gas is going for $28.23 per 1,000 cubic feet. All right? That's 16% higher than what they're paying right down the road in Rhode Island. And it's 12% higher than the national average. So it's not true that we're on some sort of discount gas plan already. We're already paying more than a lot of other people are paying. This burden cannot be put on the good people of Fall River. And I would encourage you to deny this request. You guys are in a position charged with an awesome responsibility, right? You guys exist specifically to protect these people from outlandish requests like this. And I would encourage you very, very strongly to do that. It's not just a financial thing, it's a moral thing. You know that this isn't right. I know it's not right. All these people showed up here today because they know it's not right. Please do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name's Kelly Buchanan, Kelley-Buchanan. I didn't plan on coming up here and speaking tonight, but I'm going to have to second what this gentleman just said. Fall River, we have a lot of senior citizens that will not be able to incur this I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. They won't be able to pay it. I mean, $78 might not be a lot to the, like you said, the CEO that's making $3 million, but to the citizens of Fall River, residents of Fall River, I think the average Social Security that a senior citizen gets is about $1,200 a month. Rent has gone up. I'm a landlord. I can tell you between taxes, water bills, and insurance, it's over $17,000 a year for me. So you get a senior citizen that has a single-family house, what they're paying just for that, now you're including this on it, plus their medications, plus food, plus, they can't afford it. I could see if maybe Liberty Utilities wasn't making a profit, but almost $1 billion profit, I'm pretty sure they can take on, if I need a new roof on my house, I'm not going to charge my tenants. I'm going to say, oh, your rent's going up $300 each of you, so I pay off my roof and then continue on with it. I mean, what's right is right. Like he said, you guys have the ability to shoot this down, and I'm hoping that you guys do. Listen to what the people are saying. Come talk with the residents of Fall River. Go to some of our senior housings. See what they're dealing with. See, it's not good for them, and this is only going to put them over the edge. So I humbly ask you guys to just say no. Do the research. The corporate greed has to stop. Like they said, why are we paying so much more than Rhode Island? And because we only have the one utility company. They're making money fist over hand. Like they should be able to give us a break. We're still paying more. I didn't know that, so thank you to the gentleman that just spoke. I didn't know we were paying that much more than other communities. So I just ask, just please look at it and, do your due diligence not to raise this. This is too much for us. I thank you guys for your time and your commitment for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Thomas Gorton, Thomas, Gorton, Gorton. Originally, I wasn't going to come up here, but I'm talking on behalf of the city of Fall River and my parents and my personal family. Yeah, I'm working paycheck to paycheck. I used to work 2 jobs. Never saw my kids. I was busting my rear end. Plus, I have 2 disabled parents at home. And they are taking paycheck to paycheck. They're with, not even paycheck, I should say, they're on disability checks. And they're hurting. I'm hurting. Typically, my kids are going to have to suffer if this goes up. Because I have to make a decision. Do I have to put extra bundles of blankets on my children to keep them warm so I have food on the table? Or I give them something to eat? I don't give them that much to eat to have pretty much so they have heat. What decision? I'm hearing from a lot of other ladies and gentlemen here coming up with statistics, with money, and how much things are costing. It's ridiculous. It's greed. It's 100% greed between the gas company, the electric company, just politicians, period. It's crazy. I've seen the water bills. I am a landlord. I've seen the water bills. Before you even get your own first bill, you're seeing all these hidden taxes thrown on top of your water bill. If you look through history, this country was brought up, from the belief of getting away from taxation and all this stuff. Unfortunately, and everybody can probably agree with me, we're going back to the days of England, how this country is going. It's all greed. It's more and more. We suck the blood out of everybody's, soul. You can't live. So I don't agree with this hike at all. This is sad. And I feel bad for a lot of elderly people. I feel bad for children in this city, besides my own. A lot of people are hurting for rents. The rents are ridiculous. And at the same time, what's scariest the most? Winter's coming. I know it's getting colder. I've been up north. I have relatives that own a campground up north. I know how cold it's getting. It's coming this way. Eventually, people are going to end up going back and starting to come out with other means of heat because they can't afford it. So you're going to start seeing more fires in the city. You're going to see, if a house goes on fire, these houses are close together. and a lot of them are kindling. So when your neighbor's house is up in fire, and the fire department hasn't showed up, guess what? Your house or the house on the other side might clear up. Now you're not only losing one family that lost their house, but now you got multiple houses that are up in fire, that they just lost everything, especially with the holiday season. It's not cool. People need to learn how to, companies need to sit back and just say, okay, maybe we don't need that bonus, or we don't need this extra, ways of taking from the taxpayers. How about if you start looking into and start doing some cuts of your own? I mean, like somebody was saying about the roof. If I need a roof, I need shingling. I don't start going to my neighbors, or I start going to my parents, or going and start taking it. I find a way to work my rear end off and do cuts in-house to make sure I have this all taken care of. You shouldn't be taking it out on people. This is ridiculous. It's true.
It is true.
And I've seen the mayor in action. I've seen the governor. I've seen even up to the president. It's just lies after lies after lies we've been hearing, and it's just story. It's a corrupt country, and it's going to get worse. And then you guys are saying, oh yeah, this is only going to go up to like 5 years from now, and we're going to be peaked. No, because after 5 years, then you're going to ask for more money, and then you're going to go into 10 years, and you're going to ask, and eventually, when's enough enough? It needs to end. Nobody can afford this. I don't agree with this. None of these ladies and gentlemen agree with this. And I guarantee if you talk to anybody in the city of Fall River, they're all going to deny it too. They're going to say, we're bleeding to death. And I don't want to be homeless. My children, I do not want to see my children or even my grandchildren living out in the streets. Or even seeing my parents living out in the streets. It's where they're living. That house has been in the family for over 150 years. It was originally a farm. What happens when they can't afford anything? They're going to be out in the streets, and they're going to lose everything that was brought up through time. This whole thing's not cool. Not cool at all. And unfortunately, I hope you guys make a big decision and really look into what everybody said and get down to saying what's right, and what's wrong. And that's the only thing I can think of right now. But thank you for your time, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Joshua Hetzler, Joshua Hetzler. I'm a lifelong resident of Fall River. I'm absolutely opposed to the price hike. I got some notes. As many people here came up and spoke tonight. I also had no plans on speaking tonight, but this is very important. And I wonder, how can anyone afford it? And I'm worried about my children. How can they afford anything? I got a couple of kids now that are old enough to maybe get an apartment on their own. And between rent, electricity, gas, insurance, one after another, the prices are overwhelming. Inflation's overwhelming. Pretty soon we're going to have to rely on the government for everything because we won't be able to afford it ourselves. And this comes down to, tonight, really heat, keeping people warm in the winter, right? That's what this is all about. Growing up, my mom got heating assistance from CFC. When I started my own family, I also got heating assistance from CFC, so I know the importance of the program. So that's something that we need, but just that program in itself, the fact that it exists, just shows the need that we have, especially in this community. I'm sure if you look at the numbers, you'll see that a lot of the residents here in Fall River rely on that support. So we do need the help, keeping the heat on in the winter. So a price hike, a rate increase is not going to do well for us. But there's definitely something that I think not a lot of people are talking about. And I think that the state of Massachusetts is partly responsible for these rate hikes and these price increases that we're seeing. Not just on natural gas, but on other utilities. One of the issues I have is they have this, they want to be net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. What they're doing is basically pushing fossil fuels out. They want everybody to go electric with renewable sources. And hey, that's nice, right? Maybe we can save the planet. But what's happening is it's forcing companies like the natural gas companies every time they lose a customer, right, they got to charge more for the remaining customers. And Massachusetts wants everybody off of natural gas, wants us all to go to electric cars. So every time we stop using one of those fossil fuels, right, we become, basically Liberty has less money now to spend on its customers, and they still have the same rising cost of maintaining infrastructure and their employees. So I think this is a huge problem. And I wrote some notes, so it's going to take me a second to compose myself. Giving tax credits and other benefits to those who go green, if you will, someone goes electric with all their renewable sources. Those incentives are coming out of our bills, right? We're all paying this high bill. What are all the hidden fees in our, our natural gas bill or our electricity bill? Those hidden fees are paying for other people to get their green stuff, to put the solar panels on their house. We're paying for that stuff, and it's all directly related. And by the way, electricity rates, they're sky high. I've never paid this much for electricity in my life. So while they're pushing us away from fossil fuels, the electricity is just going up and up and up. And not to mention, the electricity in the United States is generated, I think, 60% of it through fossil fuels, and overall 40% through natural gas. So we do need the infrastructure for natural gas, but at the price hike, it's just too much for us to bear. But you see how I feel government's responsible for some of this problem, whether it's the legislature or on the national level, but even the governor, who was proud when she was the AG to block the pipelines, that may have helped keep costs down. Maybe she should have allowed the pipelines to be built. Maybe then be able to keep up with the peak demand during the winter season, and we wouldn't have to charge extra to bring on whatever extra resources we have. I think it might have to be LNG at that point. I'm not sure what it is. But these are all the problems I see. So basically, they just need to stop pushing it away, and which is what they're doing. We need the freedom to choose what services we want to use in order to take care of our families. So when Massachusetts decides, well, we're going to make you get rid of your gas appliances, we're going to make you get rid of your gas cars by 2050, it's forcing us, it's forcing our hand, it's forcing us to spend more money on the things that we don't have money for right now. I have a car. What if my car lasts me another 10 years? They're saying, well, you got to get rid of it because you got to get electric. Or I have a gas stove. I want to keep my gas stove. I want to use gas to heat my house. Nope, you got to get rid of it. You got to go electric. So it's just, we're getting crushed by regulation, if you will. So we deserve to have that freedom. I think the state should definitely stop pushing the fossil fuels away. Maybe then Liberty Utilities could still be a profitable company without the rate hikes. And I'm all for the, and I don't want to make anybody think in here, I'm not for the planet. I love the planet. I'd love to go green. And I think over time, as a country, as a people, we can get better at it and do things better and take care of the planet. But to force us to do this with mandated time frames that are, again, forcing the gas companies to have less customers, forcing everybody to go green, it's just crazy. It's too much. And I think that's impacting the cost and what we're talking about here today. So I'm against that net zero thing that Massachusetts is pushing, but I'm even more against the price hike because the people can't afford it, right? People in Fall River just can't afford it, and the next generation is going to have an even harder time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public present who wish to be heard? Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Souza, AMYSOUZA. I am a nurse in Fall River and many of the other communities that will be affected by this. I've also been a resident of Fall River for quite a while, originally from New Bedford. And I've been in some of the nicest houses and nicest communities and neighborhoods. In all of these communities, I've also been in some of the worst. And I have firsthand seen people who are mentally ill, handicapped, physically handicapped, where they're not even able to get out of their house to go to a place like CFC, which I've actually had to spend my own personal time. It's almost not even company policy, but if you are a human being with a heart, sometimes you have to go against what the rules are. And I've had to personally take my own time to help them fill out forms because they have amputations, or they're not able to use their hands to fill out forms, or they don't have a cell phone to get phone numbers and resources, and having to go and drop off applications at CFC. I have witnessed people when I have entered their homes in the dead of winter, and this is going back several years already since COVID, which we all know everything's just ridiculously expensive. No one wants to ever spend more than they should for anything, you know. You want to pay a reasonable price for what that service or product is worth. But I have seen people that are on a fixed income, they're on disability, they're elderly, they have serious medical problems, diabetics, a lot of them are veterans, and I've walked into homes to have clients that have cold water in the dead of winter. They are having rent increases by landlords that have weight on their neck because they can't afford. There's also people that probably don't have a conscience and are just doing it because they see everybody else doing it and it's an opportunity, and the love of money is the root of all evil, and that's exactly what this is. And these people have extension cords in their freezing cold apartment in the dead of winter, and they are taking cold showers. I can't turn my water cold without feeling uncomfortable in a heated home. If my heat is, you know, at 68 or 70, trying to be conservative with my heat, you know, 75 would be comfortable to get out of a shower. When you have warm water, you're automatically cold. These are people that are handicapped, having people to get them to take a cold shower and being transferred into showers, and then they have medical conditions, they're gonna die, like one of the people here said. And then they're connecting electric heaters or turning on their gas stoves or, you know, whatever else they have to heat because they can't afford, in their minds, they don't even have the education to know that this isn't safe, so they think, well, if I just turn on my stove because I can't use this, or if I plug in an electric heater with 8 extension cords and I close all the doors in my apartment that are usually with handicapped people, not very cleanly, they have a lot of stuff because they can't do these things on their own. And then you have these extension cords all over the place, which is, you know, huge risk of fire, huge risk for them to be tripping and falling over. And then they can't even call for help. They don't have cell phones, some of them. They can't get out of their house to ask for help. I didn't plan on coming up here, but my heart I just thought of the numerous faces and names that I can't say because of HIPAA that, you know, are going to be affected by this. I'm going to be able to be all right. It's going to hit my pocket and it's going to suck, but there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to survive. And that's why I wanted to get up here today to speak on their behalf. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to provide comment this evening? I've got another comment here.
My name is Robin Sheehan, R-O-B-I-N, S-H-E-E-H-A-N. I wasn't planning on speaking, but it's heat. It's a basic need, and it's sad that people have to come up to this microphone and plead for people to do the right thing. Can't anybody do the right thing? We don't have to beg for heat. I mean, it's a health thing, it's a comfort thing, but it will affect a lot of people's lives. We're not asking like to buy a fur coat. We're not asking for anything. We're just asking to be warm and be able to afford to be warm. And that's all I'm saying is I'm asking you to do the right thing. It's that simple.
Thank you. Any other members of the public who'd like to provide comment? Do you want to provide a comment?
Yeah, I don't have to get up. I just wanted to say something.
Please.
I hope, like I said, I hope this doesn't go through, but if it does go through, and I have to choose between paying in my gas bill or feeding my kids, guess what? I'm going to feed my kids, and I'm going to pay you what I can't afford every month because you cannot shut my gas off. That's what I plan on doing.
Thank you. And would you just remind us your name, just for the record?
SARACVALHO.
Thank you. Any other comments? Did you have another comment?
Say Los Ferris, it's just an observation, right? You guys are the commission. I don't know how much power you have or don't have. This is really obvious, even with their council sitting here. People aren't going to be able to afford it. They've made that extremely clear, okay? And it is clear that it's greed. Make a statement. Not only deny it, force deregulation. Force it. That's how you teach a company like this a lesson. You show them that it's not okay for them to take advantage of the taxpayer and the ratepayer here in this city and in this county. Not only do you deny it, you force deregulation. That's how you get companies to stop doing what they're attempting to do here. You heard about how they've torn up our city streets, how the nurse here, and I'm with her, I can't mention names, but she's 100% right. There are disabled veterans and citizens that live right here that make that tough choice. I personally paid thousands of dollars for someone to make sure they had heat because the bill was so out of control they couldn't keep up with it. And that was before this notice. You got an opportunity to make a statement. I understand you got people to answer to. I understand you're appointed, so am I. Look me up. I don't care about being appointed. Sometimes you got to make a statement.
Do what's right. Do what's right, exactly.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make a comment this evening? Yep, if you could just provide your name again.
It's Taylor Perry.
It's going to be hard.
Please do come to the mic.
In closing, my name's Taylor Perry, Taylorperry. I just want you for tonight to absorb everything that everybody has talking to you about. You have a lot of pressure on you, but I just want you to know that whatever decision you make, it is a big, crucial one. I want you to think, before you make that decision, number one, children. Children to me is number one. No child or any baby or any means should affect children. Number two, I have a father who has a heart condition, okay? Regardless, elderly does not get paid enough money, okay, to give money extra where it's not needed. So think about these elderly people. Think about the veterans, okay? Think about families. And I also don't think you guys see the big picture because you're not from around here. It saddens me that when I drive in my car that I'm fortunate to have, okay, you should see all the people that are already homeless, okay? They're already homeless. I sometimes cry to myself because I'm driving and they're standing out there with a sign saying, I'm homeless. How many more people are going to go out in the street for being homeless? I'm just saying, please, please, think of other people. That's the problem with this world today. We only focus on selfishness. What benefits for me? What's better for the corporate? You got to think of others too. And that's all I'm saying. These people are going to be affected tremendously. Okay, that's all I want. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. Anyone else like to provide public comment this evening? Okay. Seeing none, let the record show that there are no other members of the public present who wish to be heard. We really appreciate you all coming here tonight. Your comments assist the department in its investigation of Liberty's petition. So again, we thank you very much for your time. And the public hearing for DPU 2585 is adjourned. We'll go off record. Interpreters may stop interpreting. Thank you for working so hard back there, and thank you all for attending today.